Welcome to Evilive, the live media commentary, the show that answers the question, how many times do you have to be bit before you turn into a vampire? Subscribe now if you're new to the channel because we are reviewing What We Do in the Shadows, Season 5, Episode 1. We're back, baby.
Fuck yes, and just coming right out the gate.
It's so much fun. It was like seeing an old friend.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Especially, we'll get to it. That's next episode.
Yeah.
But god damn it, yeah, it was like they've been gone forever, but they just left yesterday and came back.
Yeah.
So nice.
So what were your initial thoughts of this particular episode?
It wasn't quite as strong of a beginner as I feel like we've had in the past. Still fantastic, but first episode was a little, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like they were trying to set up what happened in between the finale and now, but it just felt kind of slow.
That's what I found a little bit strange is like, I don't recall any of the other seasons having a bridge episode.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to because of the way the last season ended. But it really did feel like the entirety of this episode was just bridging the gap between that season and what's to come.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
took
definitely.
the full episode to do it. Like, I think last season, they came back from Europe at all their different locations. And it was like the first 20 minutes, and then it just went with the rest of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like the whole thing. And I enjoyed Guillermo's retelling of what happened and how it happened.
Yeah,
and stuff.
definitely.
But
Like, especially getting all of the security footage.
yeah,
Like, that was a brilliant fucking way to do it.
just spring.
Oh god, that like it's just how I imagine it would be when you get your jugular hit. Is it's just a geyser filling an entire room, but you're still okay.
It's so great. Hey, Chris, thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, so, I mean, my initial impressions were it felt different because it was a bridge, but it was sort of akin to like, I mean, sort of like The Last of, not The Last of Us, This Is the End, which is a sort of a hangout show, a film that's just about a bunch of people hanging out and the end of the world happening all around them and just comedy and stuff. So that's kind of what the vibe I got from this. It was just hanging out.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just sort of being goofy and stuff. And the name of the episode, The Mall, was like an afterthought in the episode.
Yeah. It was like they were trying to do season 4's intro, where it's like, oh, okay, we got everything. Let's hurry up and get a story in.
Yeah.
But it didn't really land. I mean, it was funny, but it wasn't like it wasn't starting the season.
Yeah. So this is directed by Yana Gorskaya, written by Marika Sawyer, and of course it premiered on the 13th of July. And really, it's like, it's just a reintroduction to everyone. I mean, it's Guillermo saying, this is what's been going on in my life. Nandor explaining that everything is okay.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I love that that's going to be his catchphrase for the season, probably.
And that is okay.
Yeah, so fucking good.
And then Laszlo, he knows something's off. There's something wrong. I don't know. He's turned into the caretaker, like a strange character. Last season, it was
sort of.
Colin Robinson. This season, now it's going to be Guillermo.
Well, I think he had to take over because initially it was Colin Robinson. And then through all of his research and Colin's research, he realized what was going to happen. So he took on that role that Colin had, and now it's just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that it's just back to normal.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing weird about the fact that Colin Robinson just was a baby at one point
Yeah.
and is now back to himself. And just like, I don't want a desk job anymore. I'm going to be a waitress.
That is the greatest setup for a psychic vampire. And I can't believe I never thought of it before.
Right?
But just seeing him go through all those little sequences, it was like, yeah, every waiter is a goddamn psychic vampire. Like every one of them. This is a problem, people. Yeah, it was the best setup. Because the office environment, you can go so far, and I think they ran it into the ground personally, but they were
Yeah,
really
they
far
couldn't
with it.
top it.
Yeah.
Like, especially when he's just the mega Colin Robinson, the head's all
Yeah.
big, he's floating around. Like, you can't top that.
That was so stupid.
Like, the only thing you could do is for him to quite literally take a motorcycle and jump a shark.
Yeah.
Like, that is the only other thing they could have done.
Which would be a great show ending scene.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the end of it.
Yeah, if that's how they end the show, I will stand and applaud in front of my TV like an asshole.
Yeah. I will do the double snappy clicks. It'll be awesome. Because that's not pretentious at all.
No.
I can't be bothered to even golf clap. So I want to go back to Laszlo really quick because I'm still a little bit torn. There's like glimpses of the old Laszlo that I love so much. I mean, he makes some sort of off comment about ass, and he's like, ah! Just sort of his nature coming through. And then in the mall scene when she was like, "Would you like to try some perfume? Fuck off!
Yeah.
I don't need your love potions."
Well, I feel like that's not even Laszlo. That's just Matt Berry.
Yeah. Well, I mean that is a lot of Laszlo. I mean it's just him being him.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I mean, if you've seen IT Crowd, you know that he's definitely that same character in that. Like, that's the only thing I've seen him in.
Anything else that I've seen him in, it's always been this. He's just in a different costume. And he's one of those people like Michael Caine that can get away with that shit.
Right.
Like, if it's Matt Berry playing Matt Berry playing something else, no, I'm fucking buying tickets each time.
He's great. It did feel a little bit different. And I don't know, maybe it is simply because the whole premise of this entire show has been this mockumentary about this vampire family and the apprentice, I can't remember. The familiar, thank you, jeez. Wanting to be turned into a vampire, but never going to be given that opportunity. And now it's different because he is, but he's not, and I don't know. It's strange. It just feels different, especially when the guide comes in. Like, that's the next episode, funny. And we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
I don't think she came in this one, but
no,
that felt weird too. I was just like, the whole dynamic is very, very strange now. I don't know. I'll get used to it, I'm sure, but it's the only thing that's sort of like a little.
I don't know. I almost wonder if. Fuck it. I'll start it. I'll set it up right now in the beginning of the series. But I honestly think because of his bloodline, it's going to cancel the shit out. Or
really?
He's going to become like a Blade type creature.
Right.
So I don't know if it'll necessarily change the dynamic. And realistically, like every single season, something profound has happened to him that has changed him completely.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is staying the same. It's only, well, I mean, even with Colin becoming baby Colin, or sorry, the baby that crawled out of the cavity of my dead friend Colin.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Like Guillermo is the only one that changes. So I feel like his story is going to change, but the dynamic between everybody is still probably going to be about the same.
Yeah. I really appreciated Nadja's liquor blood scene.
Oh my God. That's fucking party, man.
Every time she says liquor blood, it's just, I don't know why, I just giggle a little bit inside. I think it's so funny. And then she's like, and no one told me to stop drinking. No, he literally told you over and over again to stop drinking the liquor blood. And I sat on my poor little dolly, which is just a hilarious premise.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's nothing wrong with my bum. And Colin's like, I'll be the judge of that.
Oh my God, that's so great. And then, well, never mind. That's in the sex episode, so we'll get to that one. But yeah, it's. Oh my God, it's so good.
Well, it wasn't this one because they went.
Was it this one?
Yeah, they went to the restaurant.
Oh yeah, it was this one. So Colin fixes her legs because he's like, oh, I can do it. That's fine. And it ends up being a fucking dancing doll. So when they're sitting there in the restaurant for their jalapeno poppers, Nadja sets her up on the stand and presses the button. So then the doll starts singing and flashing. And just in between each line, she's like, I fucking hate you, or something along those lines. It's so goddamn funny.
At the end, she's like,
Gotta
"Put
be
me
such a
back under the
visceral
table.
experience.
I can't do this anymore. Put me back on the table." Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah.
And just the dynamic now between Nadja and the doll is just going to be gold. Like,
Oh
just
yeah.
this hatred, but
If they
needing to be over there.
ever, for some reason, like decide to close out this show, they could easily do a Nadia and Doll show, and I'd
Oh, yeah.
watch that shit too.
That'd be great. I've never thought about that, but I think that would be really funny. That could be fun, just traveling around doing their hijinks.
Yeah.
I want that doll.
Yeah.
Doing the
100%.
can.
Yeah, if they ever decide to go to like Trick or Treat Studios or something and have them make one, I'm going to open up a credit card just to get that fucking doll if I have to, because that is amazing, especially now that it does that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it before because it's fucking cool, and the little dolls are creepy, and that's great to have around the house. But yeah, the dancing, oh my god, that'd be fantastic.
So good. So good. So Nandor finds that book, this ancient tome, in Laszlo's library, which I thought was great. Then they all, try to figure out why Guillermo's acting all weird. And I love how Laszlo just keeps calling him Gizmo. So they've just come to the conclusion that it must be his birthday, and they must have forgotten.
Yeah,
Because that's what
so
humans
good.
do. They have birthdays and they get sad. And so they decided to take him out to Colin Robinson's restaurant. And we get to see Colin Robinson in the element, which is great. And Guillermo comes in and mentions, what if Dracula's walking down the street and, I just have him.
Fucking funny.
Nadja going, I enjoy edgy comedy, but that is going too far. That's the greatest insult you could ever give to your master, having another vampire turning you into a... But if they're not going to turn you, and the only reason why you're the familiar is to be turned, what other choices do you have?
Yeah,
Nandor
pretty
murdering
much.
you, and then killing himself out of shame. It has to happen.
And of course, it can't play out like in the movie, where their familiar goes off to somebody else and turns into a vampire, and they're sort of like, whatever. I guess that's okay. Of course, it's got to be the most egregious thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he was constantly interrupted with having to unclog the toilet and was afraid of seeing his own blood, but he's okay seeing anyone else's blood, was just fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, yeah, the vampire that turns him.
Yeah.
God, that was so good.
It's so great. That box cutter going up his arm, I was just like, oh gosh. And then he's like, okay, don't look. He looks, he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Fucking veins.
I think the best part is the boss comes in, looks, and doesn't even look, like just comes in. Oh, you get the toilet still, walks back out like it isn't shit.
It's like a death scene. Like, this is like a serial killer scene. Like, blood's everywhere. Guillermo's on the ground, passed out. His servant, I can't remember the guy's name. I should know his name by now, but I don't know it. Anyway, the guy who turns him is like passed out dead.
Yeah.
Or just fainted from his delicate sensibilities. I mean, it's just freaking hilarious. I love the show so goddamn much, and I just want to live there. I want to move in like the guide wants to, and just be a part of this hijinks every day.
Absolutely. I mean, you know what? Fuck it. I'll move to Staten Island if I have to.
Staten Island, New York City. Oh, man.
That is, anytime anybody says New York, that's all I fucking hear now, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you have friends up there, so
I mean,
rib them
a
a little bit.
little bit different, but yeah.
Well, not New York City, just New York.
Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of like the whole show. This whole episode was just finding out about Guillermo and the consequences of that, and his inability to actually be a vampire. Like something is like stopping him. We assume it's his blood somehow, and I don't know what effect that'll have. But there is that scene where he says "bat" in his fucking ears.
Was that this episode or was that the next episode?
It might have been the next one. No,
So I feel
they
like
blend together because they're so close to each
that's
other.
that's the only downside to a 2-episode premiere is it just, you don't just watch one and then come back to it later. No, you're hitting next through the credits so you can watch the next one. So just kind of blend together.
I think it was the second one. But that was kind of it. We got to see where everyone was, how Nadja ended up, where she is, how why Nandor is acting the way he is, and that's okay. And Laszlo is like this weird, I don't know, almost like
Detective.
I was thinking of the actual like famous detective, but I can't think of his goddamn name.
Sherlock Holmes.
Thank you. I couldn't think of Sherlock Holmes' name.
That's fine.
Ugh.
It happens. It's been a long day.
I'm the worst. So he's like a bad Sherlock Holmes. And then we finally get, after they leave the restaurant, we get the namesake of the show, the Marrow. What is this Marrow you speak of? And it's like right behind them. And the camera just pans over and everyone's like, whoa, they're real. It's a real place. Like, how have you never seen a mall before? And the way Nadja says it is so funny. It's like she has marbles in her mouth.
Yeah.
Marrow. What is this?
So fucking
just
good.
Going to the mall and her going to that Build-A-Bear and asking for all the ridiculous body parts.
And then she looks at the doll like, I fucking asked for you. This isn't for me. Didn't you hear me about the taint?
A taint that could write its own checks.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So good. It's so stupid.
Oh, man.
Like, if you step aside and you actually consider everything about this, it's the dumbest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
But you can't help but laugh. It's just, I love it.
Oh man, it's so glorious.
Oh man, Chris, see, I'm more of an upstate person, like almost Canada. Like I got a lot of friends and family up in like Warsaw, Buffalo, Niagara area. I'll make it out, little further down one of these days, I'm sure.
I've been to Poughkeepsie before.
You fucking need to go to Buffalo with us, man. That'd be great. It's fun as shit, and the food's great.
I mean, I'm not averse to it. I've never heard of anyone going like, come to Buffalo. It's amazing until this moment.
Well, so to be fair, it's one of those things where a lot of, like, the joke is that's where tattoo artists from Utah go to retire.
Oh, really?
Because that's where most tattoo artists from Utah go to retire, is in the Niagara area.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's funny. Road trip. Yeah, I thought this was a fun, a little bit odd bridge episode, and it really primed me for the second one because I really wanted to see where the hell they were going to go with it. And so, I don't know, what was your favorite part of this episode?
Oh, definitely the doll, man. That shit was so fucking hilarious. Between that and them trying to pronounce mall, it was just so goddamn good. It's so stupid in the best way possible.
Yeah, it's got to be the doll for me. That doll dance and the shame in the doll's face and like her voice was just so ever present. I loved it so much. And the fact that Nadja, who is admitting that she had a problem with liquor blood and yet takes no responsibility other than just saying, I'm sorry, but it's not really like she's sorry. It's like she's saying that to kind of get over the fact that they're sort of on the outs and they just want to get back to normal again. And I love how the doll rides her on her back like Yoda. It's just like, this is the relationship that I need. I need to get a doll that just rides on my back.
Well, and especially when you consider what the doll is. Like, that's the last little bit of your human emotion. Like,
it's so great.
Transferred into that.
So great. All right. Well, I love this episode so much. What did you have a least favorite part?
No.
Yeah, my least favorite was definitely just the oddness of this episode, but just being back with everyone again, it made up for everything. And I thought arguably the last season was a little bit odder just because of the disparate locations that, what was the last one or the one before? It just felt a little disjointed because everyone was off doing their own thing and it was just Laszlo and Colin Robinson sort of alone for a lot of the time.
Yeah, that was the last.
Before last, right?
Yeah, because that was the one where they became a part of the Vampiric Council.
Yeah, and they traveled off. Okay, anyway, I thought that was a little bit weird because it completely stripped the dynamic away, but it all came back together last season. Then we had, of course, the wonderful. I don't want to rehash it or anything, but the nightclub, which was a lot of fun.
Just so goddamn awesome.
Yeah, I still want to.
The blood fountain. Oh, so good.
That never fucking worked. Should we turn on the blood fountain?
Yeah.
And that, I'm still scarred that the only episode I forced my daughter to watch was the one where the dude from the clown show sucks himself off.
Right, you should have shown her season 2, episode 5, Like, that is the thing that I tell anybody. It's like, if you don't know if you're going to like this, watch that episode. And if you don't like it, please kill yourself, because you don't, you don't deserve anything else.
Jeez, it's harsh. Right.
I mean, hey, you don't like it, you're dead inside anyway.
It's
So
true.
fuck.
You might as well just make it real. You already know it's true. Just
I go to the mall pretty often, Chris, but that's only because my favorite theater is inside of it. So I guess I'm a fucking vampire.
Okay. There's worse things to be, I think.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk ratings, but what are you gonna give this?
We're rating these?
Yeah, why not? It's always
Okay.
gonna be
I mean,
the
it's
same,
always
but-
going to be 4 out of 4 for me, but yeah, fuck.
Well, I've got
Or
5
5.
eyes.
Sorry, 5. I forgot.
this
We're
rating
doing
system.
Evil Eyes,
We
not
have
Banana
a whole lot
Stick.
of eyeballs.
Yeah, so 5.
We can
Always
always
5.
revert to back to banana stickers. I like those.
No. It's a fucking different show. We got it.
So yeah, Evil Eyes. Of course, this is even when I don't like this show as much as I have liked this show. I still love this show.
Yeah,
It's always comfort food, and I eat it up every time. I love it. All right.
100%.
Well, that is it for this episode review. We got another one coming up right after. Anything else you want to touch on before we close this thing out?
I think we got it, and I'm dying to talk about the next one.
All right. Well, that is going to do it, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, remember the evil spelled backwards is live. So get out there and be evil. Don't sit on your dolls, though. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, that's just common sense.
Unless you're going to make them dance after you sit on them.
Even then, it's still kind of rude. Funny for everybody else.
It is kind of-